The signal in the fog. The wind howled across the barren alien desert. Thick gray fog covered everything, swirling like smoke from a dying fire. Broken ships, rusted metal bones of war, lay half buried in the sand. Jack walked alone. He wore a torn coat and goggles over his eyes, his boots sinking into the soft dust with each step. He was a human scavenger, once a soldier, now forgotten by the world. He hunted for tech scraps and rare metals to trade. It was dangerous work, but he had no one left to care about him, only the silence. Suddenly, his scanner beeped. A weak signal blinked on his wrist device. It was strange, soft like a heartbeat, not a machine, not a drone. It was something alive. He looked around. The fog was thick, and the signal was getting stronger with every step. Jack pulled out his small blaster just in case. No one survived long out here without a weapon. He followed the sound through the broken skeleton of a crashed alien transport ship. As he climbed over twisted metal and broken glass, he saw it. Someone was lying in the sand. It was a girl, an alien girl. She looked young, maybe in her 20s by human standards. Her skin glowed faintly purple under the fog. She wore torn clothes and armor, the colors of a royal house. Her long hair was tangled with blood and dust. One leg was bent wrong, and her lips were cracked. She was still breathing, but barely. Jack's eyes widened. He knelt beside her, scanning her vitals. Her heart was weak. Her body was cold. "Hey, can you hear me?" he said softly. Her eyes fluttered open, bright silver, glowing like starlight. She looked at him, confused, afraid. Then she passed out again. Jack looked around. Whoever left her here had meant for her to die. He didn't know who she was. He didn't know what she'd done. But he knew one thing: he couldn't leave her here. Jack gently picked her up in his arms. She was lighter than he expected. Her breathing was shallow, each breath a fight. "I've got you," he whispered. He turned to leave, but the fog moved. Jack froze. There was something in the mist, a sound, low, crawling, clicking. Not human, not friendly. He saw a shadow, tall, thin, moving like a spider across the wreckage. A hunter, a predator. It had followed the same signal. Jack ran. He jumped over the broken wing of the ship, holding the girl tight. His boots slammed into the sand as he raced toward his hidden bunker half a mile away. The sound behind him grew louder, claws scraping metal, breath hissing like steam. The fog thickened. He took a sharp turn down a narrow, rocky path. The girl stirred in his arms, groaning in pain. "Almost there," Jack said, his breath heavy. "Just hold on." He reached the hatch of his bunker, an old escape pod buried in the sand. He slammed the door behind him and locked it tight. The growl outside grew louder for a moment, then faded into silence. Jack dropped to the floor, heart pounding. He laid the alien girl on a soft mat and turned on a heater. Her skin had gone pale. He injected her with a universal med shot, something that worked on most species. He wrapped her wounds, cleaned the blood. Time passed. Outside, the wind screamed. Inside, she began to breathe easier. Jack sat beside her, watching the strange rise and fall of her chest. He didn't know what kind of alien she was. He didn't know why she was alone in the fog. But something in her eyes, even in that one glance, had reached him. Suddenly, she spoke. One word. A whisper. "Guardian." Jack blinked. She was still unconscious, but her lips had moved. That word, it echoed in his mind. Guardian? Of what? He looked down at her again. Who was this girl? Why was she out there, abandoned and broken? And why? Did he feel like saving her had just changed everything? The fog outside thickened once more. Something was coming. He could feel it, But for now, inside this small shelter, the fire was warm, and she was alive. The thing that hunts at night. The desert night was not silent. Though the fog wrapped around the world like a heavy blanket, something moved beyond it, watching, breathing, hunting. And inside the buried escape pod, Jack couldn't sleep. The alien girl lay on a thin mattress, still weak, her arm bandaged with old cloth. Her skin shimmered faintly, pulsing with soft purple light. Every few minutes, she stirred and whispered strange words in her sleep. One word returned again and again. Varric. Jack had no idea what it meant. A name, a place, a threat. He sat near the entrance, blaster on his lap, listening. Not to her, but to outside. It was there again. A soft clicking sound. Tap. Tap. Scratch. Jack slowly stood. His breath caught in his chest. The sound was circling the bunker. He flicked off the lights. Darkness. He stepped toward the small window. Just fog. Nothing but gray smoke twisting through the blackness. But the sound was louder now. Closer. Then something hit the metal wall. Bang! Jack jumped. The girl gasped in her sleep. He aimed the blaster at the door, sweat dripping down his face. Outside. Silence. But not peace. This wasn't the sound of machines or rival scavengers. No footsteps, no voices. Just something inhuman. Jack whispered to himself. What the hell are you? He checked the locks. He checked the energy shields. All seemed secure, but fear doesn't care about logic. Then he saw it. A shape, through the window. A figure crawling slowly through the fog. Long, bone-like limbs. Sharp gliding movement. Its face was hidden in shadow, but its eyes like empty holes burning white. It stopped and stared straight at him. Jack's breath froze. The creature didn't move. It simply watched. Silent. Still. And then it smiled. Not with lips, not with warmth, but with intent. Then it disappeared, into the mist gone. Jack stood frozen, heart pounding so loud it echoed in his ears. He turned to the girl. She was awake, her silver eyes wide. You saw it? He asked. She nodded weakly, tears in her eyes. What is it? She struggled to speak. Her voice cracked like dried leaves. Hunter, from old times. Follows light. Sound. Jack's eyes widened. That explained the beacon. The crash. Her injuries. You crashed because of that thing? She nodded. I was escaping, she whispered. It hunts survivors. It doesn't kill right away, it plays. Jack looked at the small fire in the corner and quickly snuffed it out. Then, the heater. Then the beeping scanner. Darkness swallowed the room. The girl trembled. I shouldn't have lived. It followed me. Because of what I carry. He leaned in. What do you carry? Her hand reached under her tattered armor and pulled out a small, glowing crystal. No, bigger than a marble, but pulsing with energy like a tiny star. This is a key, she said, to an ancient gate, a forgotten city beneath the desert. Jack stared. I was the only one left alive, she added. So I ran. But the hunter never stops. Suddenly, the lights flickered. A low hum filled the room. Jack stood up fast, eyes locked on the door. The fog wasn't fog anymore, it was pressing, breathing. Then came the scratching. Scratch, scratch. The creature was outside again. Jack turned to the girl. We have to move, now. I can't walk. Then I'll carry you. She looked at him, pain in her face. You don't have to do this. Jack picked up his blaster, slung his gear over his shoulder, and scooped her into his arms. He smiled. You said something earlier. You called me guardian. She blinked. I'm not your guardian, he said. But I'm not leaving you to die either. He kicked open the emergency hatch, and cold air slammed into his face. The fog was alive now. It pulsed like it had a heart. Jack ran through rocks over broken paths, his boots slipping, every breath like fire. Behind him a scream, high-pitched, bone-chilling. The hunter had found them. The alien girl clung to him, whispering prayers in her language. Her hand gripped the crystal tight. It began to glow brighter. Suddenly, the fog parted ahead, a canyon, wide, deep, sharp, and across it, an ancient structure, black stone and glowing runes, hidden from maps, lost to time. "The gate," she said. Jack stopped. The canyon was too wide to jump. The hunter screamed again, closer. Then, the crystal in her hand floated up, spinning in the air. Energy burst from it, and a bridge of light began to form. Jack stared in disbelief. The girl's voice cracked. "Run!" He didn't wait. The bridge was thin, unstable, but he crossed it step by step. Every second felt like an hour. The wind roared. The bridge shook, and then they were across. Jack collapsed. The girl coughed, exhausted. Behind them, the bridge faded. Just as the hunter reached the edge, it shrieked, furious, but could not follow, safe. For now. Her hidden truth. The ancient gate creaked shut behind them, sealing out the fog, the wind, and the creature that had chased them. Inside, silence returned. Not peaceful silence, but the kind that holds secrets. Jack placed the alien girl gently on a stone bench. The walls around them glowed with soft blue lines like veins running through the black stone. It wasn't human technology. It felt alive, watching. The girl's breaths were weak but steady. The crystal floated beside her, still glowing faintly. Jack took a deep breath and looked around. The place was huge. Pillars rose into darkness. The floor was covered in dust, but carvings still shined through. Symbols, stars, alien script he couldn't read. This wasn't just a shelter, it was a tomb or a temple. "Where are we?" Jack asked. The girl opened her eyes slowly. "The Vault of Verena. That's what you called the creature?" "No," she whispered. "Verena is me." Jack stepped back, confused. "What do you mean?" She sat up, weak but serious now. "My full name is Elira of House Verena. I was the royal heir of the Irali people." He blinked. "So, you're a princess?" "No," she said, her voice hollow. "A prisoner of my bloodline." Jack frowned. "What does that mean?" She looked away, shame in her eyes. This place was built to protect something old, something dangerous. The crystal isn't just a key. It's a seed. It can awaken the archive. "What's the archive?" She hesitated. "Memories, weapons, voices of the past, things that should not be remembered." Jack narrowed his eyes. "Then why do you have it?" Elira clenched, her jaw. "Because I stole it." Silence. She looked up at him. "My people were going to destroy it, but I couldn't let them. I believed the archive holds truth, answers, maybe a future." "So they hunted you?" "Yes. But the hunter wasn't theirs. It was something older. It guards the archive. It sensed the crystal when I fled. It destroyed my ship, my guards, everyone." Jack shook his head. "Then why did you come here? Why bring this thing with you?" Tears welled in her eyes. "Because I didn't want to forget who I am, even if it means dying for it." Jack walked away, his mind spinning. He was just a wanderer, a scrapper. He wasn't ready for royal bloodlines and cursed archives. He sat on a broken stone and put his face in his hands. Then he heard her voice again, soft but close. "You could leave, you know," she said. "You've done enough. You saved me. You don't have to carry this." Jack looked up, but she wasn't accusing him. She wasn't testing him. She meant it. He stared at her, this broken alien girl with silver eyes and a past too heavy for her. Frame. She had every reason to give up, but she didn't. And for some reason, he didn't want to either. "I'm not leaving," he said quietly. "I didn't come all this way just to quit." Elira blinked, then smiled for the first time. It was small, but real. Suddenly, the walls around them began to hum. The crystal glowed brighter, spinning faster. Lights lit up on the floor, forming a circular pattern around them. Jack stood. What's happening? Alara looked up. The vault. It recognizes the bond. What bond? You protected the bearer of the seed. That makes you part of the archive now. Jack's heart skipped. Wait, what? The room shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. A platform in the center began to rise from the ground, revealing a pedestal, smooth, black, and covered in markings. A voice echoed through the chamber. Not male, not female, not human. Will you enter the memory? Jack stepped back. What the hell does that mean? Alara stood with effort. Her hand reached toward his. It means the truth is waiting. He looked at her hand. He didn't know what lay ahead. He didn't trust this place or her past, but he trusted her eyes. He took her hand. The pedestal lit up, and in a flash of white light, they were pulled into something beyond time. Echoes of the forgotten light. Blinding, white, endless light. Jack gasped, but no air entered his lungs. There was no ground, no sky, no weight, only light. Then, darkness. A sudden drop. He landed hard on a surface that rippled like water but felt like stone. He blinked. The world formed. Around him, an alien battlefield frozen in time. Giant machines stood still in the sand. Warships hovered silently in the blood-orange sky. The sun was cracked in half. Black clouds swirled above a city that was burning, but the flames didn't move. Nothing moved. Jack stood. His boots didn't leave footprints. Beside him, Alara appeared, glowing faintly, like a ghost. We're inside a memory, she said. Not mine, not yours. This place remembers itself. Jack looked around. This is your world? No, she whispered. This is what came before. A roar echoed behind them. They turned. Two armies frozen mid-battle, one made of golden armor and light, the other of shadows, twisting, faceless things. And between them, a third shape, alone, massive, glowing with violent energy. Jack stepped closer. What is that? Alara's voice trembled. The first flame. It was the source of life, of war, of everything. Jack frowned. You're saying this good thing started your people? Alara shook her head. No, it ended them. The archive was created to record what happened here, because no one was allowed to speak of it after. The memory around them flickered. Suddenly, the battlefield turned to ash. They now stood inside a hall of thrones. 7 thrones, 6 filled with tall alien figures, some winged, some armored, all ancient. The 7th throne was shattered. A council was speaking, but no sound came. Just mouths moving, expressions twisted in fear, rage, grief. One word echoed in Jack's head. Human. He staggered. Did they just say human? Alara's eyes widened. No, that's not possible. A flash of images exploded around them. A human man walking beside a glowing alien woman. Their hands touching. Their child, half human, half something else screaming in a lab. The council voting. The man exiled. The woman locked away. The child, erased from records. Jack felt dizzy. I don't understand. That looked like Earth. That looked like me. Alara's voice shook. It was. That was your ancestor, the first human to leave Earth. Jack's hands trembled. But humans didn't reach deep space until centuries later. Not in your history, Alara said. In ours, humans were already part of something older. The memory shifted again. They now stood in front of a black monolith, the same one Jack saw in Alara's vision. It stood alone, buried deep in sand and bone. The crystal in Alara's hand floated up, pulled by invisible force. It touched the monolith. The world went white again. Then, darkness. Again. But now, they were back in the vault. Jack fell to his knees, sweating, panting. Elira dropped beside him, barely able to breathe. What the hell was that?" he asked. Elira wiped tears from her eyes. The archive didn't just store knowledge, it stored truth. Truth so dangerous it was hidden from both sides. Jack sat in silence. So much had changed in a single moment. He wasn't just some random human who stumbled into an alien war. He was connected. Somehow, deeply. And Elira. She knew it now too. "The hunter," she said. "It doesn't just guard the crystal. It hunts the bloodline tied to the memory." Jack's eyes widened. "Me?" Elira nodded. "It saw the archive accept you. It knows who you are." Jack stood up, fire in his eyes. "Then let it come." She reached out and grabbed his hand. "Jack, I'm sorry. I didn't know." He looked down at her. Softly, he said, "Now we both do." Suddenly, a loud bang echoed through the vault. The door, the massive stone gate, was cracking. Dust rained from the ceiling. The hunter had found them. Again. Only now. It wasn't alone. The invasion. Beneath the sand. The vault trembled. Cracks crawled across the massive stone gate like veins of lightning. Dust spilled from above. A low hum filled the air. Ancient systems waking up after centuries of silence. Jack gripped his blaster. Elira held the floating crystal close to her chest, her face pale. "They're here," she said. Jack moved closer. "Who?" She swallowed. "Not just the hunter. My people." Outside the door, voices shouted in a language Jack didn't understand. Sharp, harsh, military. Then boom! The gate split down the middle. Smoke filled the vault. From it stepped 3 figures. Tall, armored, their skin glowing faint green beneath their helmets. Behind them, 2 more carried weapons that hummed with heat. They didn't speak. They didn't ask. They opened fire. Jack dove, pulling Elira down with him as energy blasts exploded against the walls. He rolled behind a pillar and fired back. 1 alien dropped, the others advanced fast. "This place is sacred," Elira shouted. "They'll destroy everything." "We need a way out," Jack yelled. She closed her eyes, held the crystal, and whispered an old chant. The floor began to shift. A hidden staircase opened beneath them, spiraling into darkness. Jack didn't ask questions. He grabbed her hand and they jumped. The floor above sealed just as another blast echoed through the chamber. The vault was under siege. But below, silence. They fell into shadow. For minutes, they walked through a narrow tunnel, walls etched, with glowing lines. Elira limped beside him, every step slower than the last. "You okay?" Jack asked. She nodded weakly. "Too much power. The archive took energy from me." Jack paused. He looked at her. How tired she looked. How small she seemed now compared to the woman of light and memory he saw in the vision. He pulled her arm over his shoulder. "Lean on me. Let's keep going." She hesitated, then smiled. "Thank you, Guardian." He chuckled. Still not used to that title. At last the tunnel opened into a vast chamber. Jack's mouth fell open. An underground city spread out before them, ruins glowing in blue and gold. Towers half collapsed, roads buried in sand. At the center, a giant obelisk, cracked but still pulsing with energy. "The heart of the archive," Elira said. "No one has been here in 1,000 years." Jack stepped forward. "So this is what your people were hiding," she nodded. "This is where truth lives." Suddenly the obelisk lit up. A voice, neither male nor female, filled the space. "Blood of Earth, flame of Verena. Welcome." Jack looked at Elira. "That's me, right?" She smiled. "It recognizes you now." The obelisk cracked open. Inside, hovering in midair, was a small device, circular, ancient, yet alive. Elira gasped. "It's the core, the final memory." As she stepped toward it, the ground shook again. Jack turned. At the far end of the chamber, a black hole tore open in the wall, and from it, the hunter stepped in. But it was different now, taller, angrier. Its arms had multiplied, its face shifted like smoke, and its chest was glowing red. It had absorbed something from the vault above. It was evolving. Jack raised his blaster. The hunter spoke, for the first time, a voice like a scream inside Jack's skull. "You are the error." Jack stumbled, his ears ringing. The wee hunter raised its claw, but Elira stepped between them. "No," she shouted. "He belongs here," the hunter hissed. "So did I." Jack fired. The shot hit, but the creature didn't fall. It charged. Jack grabbed Elira and ran toward the obelisk. The core floated higher. It was waiting for someone to touch it. Elira looked at Jack. "You're the only one who can activate it now." He stared at it, heart racing. "What happens if I do?" "I don't know," she said. "But it's the only chance we have." Jack nodded. He stepped forward, the hunter screaming behind him. He touched the core. A burst of light exploded outward. Blinding, pure. The city shook. The hunter stopped mid-charge. Its limbs twitched. It screamed, a horrible broken sound, and fell, backward into the shadows. Vanishing through the crack it came from, silence returned. The light faded. Jack collapsed. Elira crawled to him. He was alive, but barely conscious. She placed her hand on his chest. "Guardian," she whispered. "You did it." And for the first time since her crash, she cried, not from pain, but from hope. When the flame awakens, silence, but not the empty kind. The silence in the ancient chamber felt alive, like something deep beneath the ground had taken a breath after centuries of sleep. Jack lay on the floor, the core still pulsing faint light beneath his hand. His skin glowed where he touched it, soft golden lines running up his veins like molten light. Elira sat beside him, watching, worried. He opened his eyes slowly, but they weren't the same. His pupils glowed faint silver, his voice was hoarse. "I saw everything." She leaned closer. "What did you see?" Jack sat up, still dazed. "The first flame. The real one. Not a weapon. Not a god. It was a choice. A spark planted into two kinds, yours and mine." Elira's breath caught. "So, humans and Irali, we come from the same origin?" Jack nodded. "We were supposed to grow together, but fear separated us, erased the records, buried the truth." The core floated higher. Then a voice, calm, deep, ancient, spoke from within it. "The guardian has been chosen. The flame is restored." Jack stood slowly. The glow in his body faded, but something inside him had changed. His fear was gone, his purpose clear. Elira looked at him with awe. "You're not just a protector now," she said. "You're part of the archive." Jack nodded. "And so are you." Suddenly the chamber rumbled. "Wait," Elira said, eyes widening. "Did you activate the flame?" Jack looked at the core. It was turning red. "I think it's waking." The city. A deep hum vibrated through the walls. Cracks sealed, lights returned, machinery rebooted. Across the underground ruins, towers lifted. Doors opened, and above, on the surface, something massive began to rise from beneath the sand. The true city of Verena, hidden for millennia. But that wasn't all. A new signal shot into the sky, bright, golden, loud. A beacon. Jack and Elira looked at each other. "That's not good," Jack muttered. Elira checked the crystal. "That signal, every system in the sector will hear it. My people, the scavengers, the hunters' kind, if more exist." "You mean, we just woke up the whole galaxy?" She nodded, and the chamber trembled again. From the far corridor, bootsteps. Jack. And Elira turned. Two soldiers stepped out, Irali elites. Sleek armor, masks glowing. But they didn't attack. One of them spoke. A deep female voice. Drop the weapon, human. Step away from the core. Jack held his ground. I just saved your people's history. The soldier aimed her rifle. And doomed our future. That archive should have stayed buried. Elira stepped forward. You don't understand. The hunter is real. The flame is truth. He activated it. The vault chose him. The second soldier removed his helmet. Older, with sharp gray markings across his skin. He stared at Elira. Lady Elira, he said softly. You're alive. She blinked. Commander Reelan? He nodded. I served your mother. We thought you were lost. She stepped closer. Then help us. This human is not the enemy. Reelan looked at Jack, then at the core. His jaw tightened. Believe you, but the council won't, not after this. Jack narrowed his eyes. Then we don't go to them. Reelan frowned. Then where? Jack turned to Elira. We go to the outer colonies. Show them the flame. Show them what was hidden. Elira nodded. The past must become light, or the darkness will return. Reelan sighed. It's madness. But maybe madness is what we need. He tapped his communicator. Prepare the transport. We're leaving. As they headed toward the surface, Elira walked beside Jack. You know, she said softly. I thought I was alone when I fell, that no one would care. Jack looked at her. I thought I was broken, he said. Just some nobody scavenger trying to survive. She smiled. Turns out, we were both more than we thought. They stood at the exit of the vault. Above, golden light filled the sky. The city of Verena was alive again and warships were already on the horizon. The Guardian and the Flame. The city of Verena had risen. Golden towers shimmered under twin suns. Runes danced across the ancient walls. Wind swept over the sand-blasted streets, whispering secrets long buried. What had once been a forgotten grave now stood like a beacon for the galaxy, and they came. Warships, patrol drones, privateers, royal scouts. Everyone wanted a piece of the truth. In the center of the city, atop the sky spire, Jack stood, cloaked in the old robes of the archive. The crystal hovered beside him. It had fused with the core now. Pure energy, pure memory. Elira stepped out beside him, her hair braided in the style of her house. Her skin no longer looked fragile. It glowed. They're surrounding the city, she said. Jack looked at the sky. Black dots, dozens of them, closed in, warships, fighters, even cargo vessels turned into weapons. We knew this would happen, Jack said. Elira nodded. They'll want to destroy it, silence the truth. But not all of them, Jack added. Some are just scared, others want answers. A voice crackled over the communicator. Commander Reelan. My lady. They're calling for surrender. They say if the human turns over the archive, the city will be spared. Elira glanced at Jack. His voice was steady. That's a lie. If they get it, they'll bury it again. Reelan paused. Then you have only one choice left, Guardian. The Skyspire platform lowered slowly. Crowds had formed. Irali rebels, scavenger traders, curious scientists, and exiled soldiers from a dozen worlds. All had come when the signal lit the stars. Now they watched. Jack stepped forward, his voice amplified through the city's old speakers. I'm not here to fight you, he said. I'm not even from your world. His voice echoed across the towers. I'm just a man who found a broken girl in the sand. And by saving her, I found something bigger. He raised the crystal. This holds the truth. Not just about her, people, but about mine. About all of us. The crowd murmured. Some shouted. Some raised weapons. Elira stepped beside him. Our ancestors were connected, she said, but fear tore them apart. That fear still lives in your leaders. That's why they want to burn this city. A blinding light flashed in the sky. A mothership had arrived. Massive, silent, watching. Jack looked up. They will strike. But before, they do. He looked at Elira. I choose. He placed the crystal into the final slot on the archive's control pillar. A massive pulse of light burst across the city. Every tower lit up. Runes blazed. Holograms exploded into the air. Images, voices, old languages. The truth was no longer a secret. It was broadcast across the entire sector, on every channel. The crowd stood frozen, watching the scenes play. Humans walking alongside. Irali. The flame choosing both. The cover-up. The erased child. The beginning of it all. The mothership above paused. No fire. No voice. Just silence. Then a new voice, over the airwaves. A deep, female tone, calm and regal. This is High Chancellor Mariva of the United Irali Council. The footage is confirmed. The records match. The Guardian speaks the truth. Gasps rippled across the city. Jack looked at Elira. She believed? She had to, Elira whispered. You gave her no choice. Reelan's voice echoed again. All forces are standing down. The city is free. Jack closed his eyes. It was over, not with a war, but with truth. Hours later, as the city calmed, Jack and Elira stood at the edge of the sky spire, watching the sun set over the sand. You're not going back, are you? Elira asked. Jack shook his head. There's nothing for me on Earth now, but here, I matter. I mean something. You always did, she said softly. He looked at her. And you? What will you do now? She smiled. Rebuild. Teach. Protect. She took his hand. Together, Jack nodded. They stood as the stars returned, bright, endless, and full of stories yet to be told. The flame lived. The Guardian had risen, and a new era had begun.